This particular video is one video I was hoping I would never have to make, but long story short, I'm kind of on the lookout for FPV sponsorships. 101 million guys probably out there begging for sponsorships. I get that, that's cool, you know. Why sponsor me? Well, I've been doing this a long time, so this FPV thing for me started years and years and years ago. I've been doing RC cars and stuff for quite a long time, probably since I was 14. I used to race 110 scale off-road when I was a kid, and then, you know, that kind of came and went when I was in Canada. It was great though, learned a lot about just the basics of RC. Yeah, I always liked RC, but I focused on racing cars for tons of years. And when I say that, I'm talking, you know, club level stuff, and I was basically my own sponsor, and that car thing had been a dream of mine forever and ever and ever. Long story short, I spent tons of my money and all my money and money beyond the money, like on cars and getting faster and building them, modifying them and stuff. I was never really that great. I was maybe at the level where I was competent, but like, you know, in the course of that, yeah, I earned a certain degree of, I don't know, respect, I guess you could say, just in terms of, I always called it like I saw it. I was always pretty honest, and I was never into all the nonsense, like political intrigues and stuff like that. You know, I was pretty straight up, keep it real kind of guy. In the course of that, I also picked up a bunch of skills. You know, I'm pretty good on social media, of course. That was back in the pre-Instagram days and even the pre-iPhone days, where I was more of a forum guy, forum moderator at a certain point, forum instigator many times, because I used to hop across different car forums and instigate stuff and whatnot, both local forums and international forums for like whatever community I was into, whether it be the Evo or the Volkswagen Golf guys or the Miata guys. Yeah, long story short, the car thing kind of died out because it's just not a poor man's game. And so I got back into RC, and I did RC drifting for a good long time, and that was actually quite fun. It was, you know, it's a simple, innocent, just fun hobby, drifting RC cars around the place and whatnot. So I got, you know, I practiced that for ages. Eventually met up with some other dudes here who were doing it. We used to meet up in parking lots and whatnot, and yeah, eventually I got really into it. Started like trying to design tracks for them and this and that. Eventually we had a hobby shop that sort of sponsored a spot for us to do a proper drift track, and yeah, through knowing people here and there, just because I know people, it's not a brag, it's just I knew people, and so we ended up doing some RC drifting at like legit car meets, like real drift events or general car meets and stuff like that. And somewhere along the line I kind of noticed this whole FPV thing. I think it was FPV Labs way back in the day, where guys were just beginning to strap cameras on quads, and I don't even think mini quads were out at that time. I actually was more into wings. I wanted a wing so bad. Like I saw the TBS, what was it, back at the time, I think TBS was flying the Zephyr wings and doing some crazy ass stuff in terms of their video and what they were doing with wings, and that like blew my mind. And I suddenly thought, man, I got to get into like that third dimension. Sort of segued from the RC drifting into the drones, as they're called. The first attempt was not very successful. I got like a Blade QX, I don't know, 350, I forget what it was called. It was some little thing from Horizon Hobby that was a bit smaller than a Phantom, but you could put a GoPro on it, and I lost that in the first flight because the GPS was basically a lie. It didn't work. But that just kind of got me more hungry. So I don't know, so I bit the bullet, got a Phantom for a while, did that. You know, I discovered the beauty of putting gimbals on stuff and aerial stabilization with the GoPro and la 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 la. And then I kind of realized, man, there's, you know, kind of nowhere to fly, for one, and for two, I just got interested in what else can I do. So I built like a that time I built a QAV 400, I think, with a NASA on it and the full. I made my own Zenmuse gimbal rig for the front of that thing because I didn't like the articulating gimbal things that they were selling, and that was cool. I got into the building side of it essentially, and then I thought, nah, I want to do something even cooler because I live in Dubai and there's all these ginormous buildings and whatnot. So I built like a Sky Hero Spider 600 and kitted that thing out to the max. Like I spent maybe way too much money on it for my skill level, and I got into like ultra long range, you know, cruising around. I flew really high and really far by having a DJI light bridge on that thing, which was good, but it was like V1 technology, so as it turns out it wasn't that good. And I had one particular flight that I did. I ain't gonna say what I did during that flight, but yeah, I was like kilometers out and just completely relying on my telemetry. My video picture got lost, my gimbal was spazzing out, and I was like, my god. I flew it back purely based on instruments and the telemetry stuff on the screen, and that was actually kind of freaky. And I was like thinking, okay, this is actually not that fun. And basically I kind of got out of the long range stuff, and somewhere around the same time the whole mini quad thing was coming. And man, once I saw the mini quads, I think it was the QAV 250 that came out, and like the Blackout Mini H or whatever. And so I saw some of those videos. That shit just blew my mind, because I was like, wow, you could take a quad, put a GoPro on it, and basically just like fly it anywhere and do all this crazy stuff. I don't know, I'd seen a bit of quad acro before, because I think there was a couple guys, like a guy named Juz and I don't know, Midwest Rob, I think, who had done, you know, they'd put CC3Ds on their QAV 400s or whatever and done some cool flips and rolls. So that was mind-blowing. Mini quads were like the next level, and I was like, that is the shit right there. So I bought a ready-built QA 250 and realized on the first flight that I couldn't fly rate mode. Lost that in the desert. I didn't give up. I just started building my own stuff. So I think it was the Minion frames from Canada, and I just put CC3Ds on this stuff. I was running 3S. I was flying like attitude mode for the longest time, because rate mode, I just didn't get it. It freaked me out. But yeah, this is like 3 or 4 years ago, right? Where I think everybody was trying to, like, starting out, and yeah, there were some guys who were really good back then, but a lot of dudes just doing what I was doing. The Minion frames with the CC3D and like 3S 2400 motors, and I got on 4S. I think there was the big Dubai World Drone Prix that happened somewhere right around that time. Yeah, there was a couple of cool guys in town, and they introduced me to the KISS flight controller. And so I tried that out, and I was like, whoa, my god, it flew amazing. See, I learned rate mode. I was just flying around my park for the longest time. See, I've probably been in that cycle of build, crash, repeat for about 3 or 4 years or more, just with mini quads and just with like acro flying and racing and stuff like that. And yeah, I've tried out pretty much everything there is you could possibly try. I mean, from CC3D to KISS. Okay, I just recently got into Betaflight, because once I got into KISS, that was it. I loved it. And in fact, I still run KISS on my freestylers here. But that's kind of what I'm all about. I'm just like a normal dude. I've been doing this a long time, and I think maybe what makes me a bit different from some other guys is I'm not shy about failing at this stuff. You know, however good I am or not good at I am, it's like I earned it. I don't consider that I was born with some natural talent or whatever. I've been working at this stuff for a very long time. I will continue working at this stuff for as long as I can, because I love it, man. And you know, I like sharing knowledge. I like chilling with guys. Like locally, there's a lot of restrictions on what we can do, but we make the best of it. You know, we got our little racing scene, we got our spots, and that, for me, I'm cool with that. I hope to keep doing it basically until whenever, because I don't see an end. I'm not, yeah, I've plateaued several times, but I never lost that basic passion for flying, and that's what kind of keeps driving me into doing this stuff. There's that, and the fact that it's like flying FPV also is basically the only thing that I found outside of a racing car that truly satisfies my little neurons in my brain. I fly FPV, and to me it's like therapy. It's therapeutic. I love it. It's part excitement and it's part relaxation, and it's just super awesome. And yeah, I'm addicted for life, man. I'm about 40 years old, but this is what I'm gonna do. Why sponsorship? Why now? Well, I'm kind of at a screwy point in my journey, and I just want to bust one myth straight up, and that myth is that, like, oh yeah, Dubai, everyone's loaded and this and that. Like, that's not exactly true. In my case, in the case of a lot of guys I fly with, we're barely getting by, and we do this because we love it. I do this hobby at the exclusion of a whole bunch of other stuff that I probably should be doing. And I'm kind of at a point where, yeah, I'm totally happy with my setup and my gear and my skills and everything, but like, it's hard to keep doing new stuff at the same rate. And for example, the whole 6S thing, right? I have a really great bunch of 4S setups. I got 2 freestylers that are awesome. I got, I think, a couple racers now that are running Betaflight, and yeah, they're all 4S. Really great. And then 6S comes out. So for me, or like a normal dude like me, like, I just can't touch that, because like the pure investment of buying a whole bunch of motors, it would probably be like, yeah, 8 motors plus 2 spares for the racers, and again the same thing for the freestylers. So that would be like 20 new motors for me, and all new lipos, of course. And yeah, I can't do it, man. It costs too much. Like, even though it's probably the way forward, it's like, God, I just can't do it. And it's sort of the equivalent of like, yeah, I perfected my 3S stuff and 4S comes out, and I'm like, okay, I hopped on the 4S train eventually, but I don't know. It's like there's certain things that sort of holding me back, and I feel like I kind of need the help, The other thing is, like, my lipos are dying off. So I've got, yeah, I run about 20 lipos per day, all 4S, but these lipos they've seen better days. I can tell you that. They're great lipos, but when it comes to replenishing my lipo stock, that's very difficult to do. It's hard to get our hands on lipos here, for one, and when you can, they're super expensive. So we got to order them from abroad, and even if we get a good deal, we're paying shipping, and that's even if we can ship them in. It's like super crazy. I mean, in the course of using these same lipos for my freestylers and my racers, they're getting abused to hell, and yeah, I've got a good charger, doing the best I can, but there's still these times that the thing comes down and they're just not as good as they used to be. So like, I'm kind of at a point where I can barely continue to do what I'm doing, let alone grow. And I want to grow, and I want to try new things out, and I want to share that knowledge. I want to like take people on that whole journey with me, for better, for worse, because I'm probably going to screw things up, and just share stuff as I do it. I'd like to do more online in terms of my YouTube channel. I'd probably like to not keep doing these stupid GoPro things where my face looks fat and my arm is shaking because I'm holding the GoPro up. Yeah, I edit all my own stuff. That's not an issue. But yeah, it'd be cool to maybe invest in another camera or something so I could do a little bit better quality videos. My angle that I come at it from is, again, I'm just an average dude trying out all this stuff like everyone else. I'm not an expert, and I'm not a total noob. I'm like a dude with some skills and a bunch of battle scars, and I'll just call it like I see it. I try to see the best in every situation, but yeah, if something's crappy or sucks or something happens, I'm gonna tell people. And if I solve problems, I'm gonna tell people how I solve problems too, just for me, or from my point of view. I'll do my best to like spread your message and spread your brand and spread out my experiences. And yeah, I'd like to up my game too. This hobby is awesome in terms of how it's continually just getting better and better and better. And just when you think, oh, technology is awesome, it's gonna not progress, and then it'll just progress. Something happens, something comes out, and as much as I enjoy the flying, I do enjoy being hands-on with the progress as well, like the technological progress. I think we take it for granted, you know, because things are so evolved and quads fly so good out of the box these days. But yeah, there's so many dudes trying new stuff. And I'd really like to keep getting into that and keep sharing feedback and opinions about that experience. The other dimension to it is new pilots in the hobby, man. I want to share what I learned in the process of bumbling my way around in terms of becoming a better pilot, so that other dudes can like make the right choices and yeah, learn how to fly better, whether it's tuning tips or how I set up rates or how to fly smoother or this or that, or Tirana settings, KISS settings. Hey, whatever's in my brain, I'm happy to share it. I'll sit back, I'll do a video about it, no problem. Because I really feel because what I really want is for like dudes getting into the hobby to have a good experience of the hobby and not waste their money, not waste their times, and not get into that whole thing where they get into it and they're all hyped and then they just flame out because they can't get a quad to work, or they can't fly like they want to fly. And hey, a bit of it's always on the hobbyist and having the right mindset, but yeah, man, if I can chime in and help dudes along that journey with sharing a little knowledge, yo, I'm totally up for that. The third thing is I do plan on flying some cooler stuff in Dubai. There's a lot of laws, a lot of regulations here, but there is a bunch of stuff we can do. And if I had a little bit of sponsorship, maybe that would help me open some of the other doors that I need to open in order to get permission to fly some of the places that I really would like to fly. Obviously, there are some crazy buildings here and crazy surreal stuff. And yeah, one option would be to just total pirate mode, go fly all this stuff, rogue style, post it up, sit back, and either wait for the dudes to arrest me or like do it under an anonymous account, do it anonymously or whatever. That's totally an option, but that wouldn't be my preferred option. I want to do stuff safely. I want to respect not the letter of the law, but the substance of the law as close as I can. But I do want to push what's going on here too. I'm confident that I've got the skills to be able to do that. Like, I think I could rock up in any situation and fly pretty well and pretty confidently, thanks to my gear, thanks to my experience. I've done the bando thing, I've done buildings, I've done parks, and I'm pretty confident in all those things. So I'm ready to push on and pitch to other guys like, yo, let me fly in your spot, I will do some cool stuff for you. I do plan on trying to talk to a few people and see if I can do a few things legitimately. And at the same time, I do want to fully tap out what can just be done off the shelf, you know, in terms of going around the country a bit more, flying a bit more of the scenery, like places that I can just walk into, fly, and walk out of. Yeah, I kind of at the point where if I got some sponsors, it would totally help me out. And obviously, though, any sponsorship thing is going to come down to a business thing. It's like, what's in it for a sponsor? Why should some sponsor chuck whatever it is, a discount or parts or whatever at some dude like me just so I can fly? Hell no. You know, it's not a charity, and I recognize that. So what do I bring to a sponsor? Well, I'm going to keep making the YouTube content. I'm hoping to get better at it. The other thing I bring in is, yeah, I do have a bit of a social media presence. I would say that I don't have a huge reach, but I do bring credibility in the sense that, you know, I'm not a troll. Like, I'll share knowledge. Like, basically, the whole sort of persona that I build up on social media is I'm not afraid of anyone. I'll go toe-to-toe, and I'll say it like I think, and not in a malicious way, you know. And I'll keep doing that. I'm in all the big groups and whatnot. Yeah, I'm not about, like, the biggest follower account or the biggest reach or whatever. I'm more about quality, man, and just honesty. I'm not about pushing products and stuff. But having said that, if there's stuff out there that I fly and I like it, I have no hesitation in promoting the crap out of that. Because if I think it's going to work and I like it and I think it works for me and I think it's going to work for other dudes, yeah, I'm going to tell people this is good stuff. without hesitation. Conversely, if something sucks, I'll say, yeah, this didn't quite work out. I don't think I'll go around just asking everyone and anyone for like sponsorships. I think I'd only ask brands that I truly like believe in terms of not just their products and the quality of their products and their performance, but also like, you know, what's that brand been up to in the hobby? What do they stand for? And what are they going to continue to do? So if I think about good brands in the hobby, it's probably those three that really stick out. Like the Pyro guys are awesome. Like they always have the best stuff for a great price. Armatan, yeah, they get a lot of flack, but honestly, they're all about like the best frames, period. And man, now that I've owned a couple and flown those for 8 months, I agree on that. They are worth every single penny. They're kind of like an investment. Best frame I've ever had. And yeah, TBS as well, around for years in the hobby, and I don't think TBS needs to say anything about their products, because if you follow it and what they've been up to and stuff like that, you know who they are, man. They've been in it since the beginning, and they've always been pushing the ball forward in this way or that way. And I like the whole, okay, maybe I like the whole honesty vibe they've got, right? Like they put stuff out. If it doesn't work, you know, they'll fix it. They're a bit scrappy too. I like a scrappy. A little bit of scrappy is good. They're not all totally politically correct, and I like that too. To me, that brings a little authenticity to the brand, and I think we need more authenticity and more honesty, right? Instead of like always trying to be politically correct. I think there's a time for each. Yeah, I don't believe in just harassing people or doing stupid stuff. At the same time, I think keeping it real is really important, especially now more than ever. With all the talk going around about clones and not clones and this and that and hate brigades and all that coming back and forth. It's just nonsense to me. Although I have no hesitation in walking into those kind of threads and smacking people around. But I got better things to do. And I think TBS sometimes has better things to do as well. Honestly, actions speak louder than words. The products speak louder than whatever nonsense goes on online. And yeah, I dig that vibe. And I'll happily rock their shit forever, because it's the best. It's the best gear. It's the best long range system in terms of the Crossfire, and the motors are rock solid as well. And the VTX, the control and the video link, that's like the fundamental things of any FPV experience. Can you see? Can you control the thing? The rest is your flight controller and your setup and all that. Oh yeah, and that brings me to the KISS. Yo, I love the KISS flight controller. And again, that's another thing that, like, hey man, I would love to try the KISS V2 and the KISS ESCs and all that, and I just cannot afford to upgrade my setups because I need the V2 flight controllers. I need to shell out for the KISS ESCs as well. Yeah, I could set that up at a heartbeat because I know how to run a KISS setup really good, but again, getting all that gear and doing it on my 2 quads, just can't do it. So one more brand I wanted to call out as well that has meant a lot to me, and a brand that I think represents the correct direction for this hobby, and that would be like the Ethix brand. So I know that Ethix and TBS are kind of related and kind of not. So like I really like what those guys stand for though, or you guys or whoever. In terms of the vibe, like watching Steele's videos have kind of informed my attitude towards what I buy and what I don't buy for a long time. There's the whole blah 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 Mr. Steele, and yeah, that dude's fun to watch. But what really has influenced me a lot is the serious, technical, nerdy Mr. Steele, who goes into crazy detail and explains like why he does certain things the way he does it. That's meant a lot to me for 2 reasons. First, because obviously I learned a lot, but the second thing is the whole attitude of like, do it right the first time, buy the right stuff, and like go for quality. Don't go for the most expensive, don't go for the cheapest, like go for the quality, invest in the experience. I think that Ethix kind of has the right balance of naughty and nice, you could say. Like, I like the way that they're about sharing knowledge and getting into the detail and still having a good deal of fun. So I watch pretty much all the videos. The other dude I really like in Ethix is Snake, because he's like the most anti, he doesn't care about happy personas and all that kind of nonsense. Snake is just Snake. And that's another dude who I've learned a lot from, because he just tells it like it is. And again, it inspires me in terms of like, I learn stuff. I learned a lot of stuff from Steel and Snake. But the attitude as well is something that gets me a lot. So and Konasty too, man, like another knowledge share. Like, great guy, he's funny as well. But that whole tutorial / having fun balance is something I think Ethics is really wicked on. I know that Ethics doesn't really do sponsorship though, so I don't know, man. I just wanted to call out Ethics because I think that, like, in terms of guys who are trying to get together around a set of common ideas and develop a certain kind of product in a certain way, and in terms of like how they're engaging on social media to educate people as well as inspire and have fun, I think Ethics really has the right balance going on. You know, well-chosen brand name, guys. Yay. Ethics. Yeah, I think this hobby needs a code of ethics, right? There's the pirate side and there's the, I don't know, there's all the sides, right? Like, you, on the one hand, there's your pirate instinct. On the other hand, there's your politically correct, always positive thing. And I don't believe in both, man. I believe in like finding that right balance in between the two poles and just basically doing the right thing in a way that you're just not harming people or not screwing anyone else's stuff up. And at the same time, you're doing your due diligence, you're making smart decisions with your gear, and you are taking that bit of risk, but it's calculated, informed risk. And you're having fun too, you're pushing. You're balancing all those things really well. So I thought Ethics was a really cool initiative. I don't have many Ethics stuff except for the motors and the earbud in my goggles, which, yeah, by the way, really cool little earbud. Little details like that, though, they do add up. And God, I could yak all day about that aspect of how the little things add up to having a good FPV experience. I don't think I'm Ethics caliber in terms of my social media game, or even my flying game, arguably. But yeah, I do have a bit of technical know-how. I can pump out videos, and I got a hell of a lot to say about stuff. So I don't know, man. But I'm not as cool as anyone. I'm not as like charming as Noelle. I'm not as smart and hands-on as Konasty. I can't build hot rods by myself. I could try, but it would go really badly. Nowhere near as smart as Steel is, nor as charming as that guy. Nowhere near as experienced as Trappy. I don't know, man. Probably, yeah, I suck compared to you guys. But whatever. So yeah, I hope you at least consider my pitch. I know you probably get bajillions every day and whatnot, but, well, there are bajillion pitches out there. That one is mine. If I did get the sponsorship, I would stand up for it and do right by it. And again, I understand it's got to be mutually beneficial. I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't like freebies. I wouldn't expect freebies. I want to give stuff back to brands. I want to give stuff back to like my local guys here, and I want to give stuff back to the random people on the interwebs as well, in terms of knowledge and in terms of maybe like, I don't know, opinion or personality, leadership too, by just taking the higher ground, talking with people, engaging, whatever. Oh my God, do I ever need a LiPo sponsor as well? Like, because I just kill LiPos. And I foresee that I'm going to keep killing LiPos as much as I maintain them and stuff. Between racing and freestyle, you know, stuff happens, man. Sometimes you got to fly a LiPo into the ground in certain situations. If you're racing, you're going to push them. If I could figure out the whole LiPo thing, that would be a huge, huge, huge help, because it's right now it's really expensive and really difficult to get that done. You know, I don't mind slow boating in LiPos from wherever. That's actually what we do here now. But if I could get that cheaper or get some kind of support on that, that would be awesome too. So I apologize if this is not the most polished video ever in the history of sponsor pitches. Thanks for watching and suffering through this awkward video. And let's see, man, maybe see you on the other side.